Alright. An ounce of a jump scare there, I hope. Today we're back on the X68000, 68,000, however you want to call it. Let me grab some water. We get the nice DSN9 logo here. Talk more about that as soon as I hydrate. Alright. I can feel my voice not being up to par today, so we're not going to be here for too long. Okay. Oh, a two-player game. Thing how a lot of these shoot-em-ups tend to just be two players. I don't know. I guess it makes sense. You kind of just sit around with your friends, you know, you bought this at like Comic Cat or whatever the hell they publish these things, and well, back in the 90s, and play with your friends around your old PC, old Japanese gaming computer. Thankfully, the joypad works here. I do have a joystick connected to this PC. And I did test a little bit, thankfully. We don't need any other disc, I think. But you can really tell this was 90 something. This came out in 90... I think they released this in 93. I think. Somebody could check me on that. Not that there's that many Japanese people watching anyway, and I forgot the year. But this is Glacier, a Japanese shoot-'em-up from DSN9. It's another one of those Doujin games, Doujin soft, pretty much homebrew as you would call it in the West. And yeah, it sounds pretty good. The sound is a little too loud, so I'm gonna see if I can turn some of that down. Maybe not. Eject. Game description. Turn the title. End game. Description. A little manual, probably. Yeah. Okay, well, there's no way to lower the volumes. Once we're in there, hopefully the sound effects aren't super loud, because it is pretty bad. I'm gonna save now because I can. Oh, they're not asking me for a save disk. I like that already. Oh man, I can feel my old gaming PC here just rattling about. The floppy disk. At least I think these are floppies. They could also just be diskettes. They're rattling in there. Alright. Alright, so we got choose a job, buy weapon, buy items. Gonna go straight into scenario 1. There's supposed to be 1, 2, 5. There's supposed to be more than that, but I think there's an extra disc I can put in. We'll see about that, but you guys can read the description there. I guess if you're Japanese, you can just pause right there. I'm sure I have some viewers from Japan. I'm pretty sure it was like up 1% or 2%, so maybe higher than that. Last I checked. A long time ago. Okay, yes. See what we got. Meteorites approaching. Destroy the meteorites. Alright. I am turning that down because I know the sound effects were allowed to me. So I know anybody else is going to be deafened by some of these noises. Want to check the audio peak meter? Yeah, it is pretty loud. Oh my god. These are fast. Yeah, these aren't the best sound effects, but I'm going to lower that even more. Not that much. Yeah, some of these sound effects are not the best, but the music's pretty good. Hopefully there's more tracks that I don't know of. Sprite works alright too. Again, these are homebrew type of games, made by usually one to a group of small people. You know exactly what I meant to say by that. A small group of people. Yeah, there you go. So many thoughts running around my head right now. Also a shield button, which covers you from all damage, but it takes up a lot of life or energy down there. You can see we're already about to lose. The meteorites are shooting at me too, by the way. So hopefully this isn't a super loud stream. Although, to be honest, I prefer super loud than super low. I went back to watch some of the older streams. You can barely hear anything at all. And that's not something I want moving forward, because even in editing, it's kind of hard to hear anything. Anyway, I don't know how far we're going to get on this. Doesn't seem like one of those games that I'd make much progress in. And that's fine. As long as you see it for what it is, I pretty much just did my job. Or at the very least, what I set out to do from the very beginning. Show these off. Oh my god. Okay, I'm all out of energy. I got nothing else to do. Just when we'd hit the boss, I think. There's no lives. I didn't see anything about that. What happens now? Alright, let's get some weapons. Wow, this is very in-depth. No points. So it is pretty useless. Alright. Yeah, I can't do anything. Alright. Keep it going. I don't know. I can feel it in my voice. Today wasn't really a stream day. Feels off. I feel like I'm straining my voice more so than I normally would. But we're gonna keep going until I can't progress. We can find some other scenarios to play, maybe. But yeah, it's just one of those things. You know, it is your own voice. You kind of tell if it's any different day to day. I don't know if it's from me having just eaten a bunch of chicken and waffles, but could be. So yeah, I downloaded, well, I privated a lot of, probably like 50 about streams that had really low audio. This was before I transitioned to better audio settings and quality. You know, but after I knew what I was doing. So suffice to say, you're not going to see much of any of that anymore. I did save about 20 of them, probably, or just download them so I can edit them down later. Wow, I'm already out of energy, so I might as well just avoid everything that I see. Interesting. I'm just going to keep editing down, and I did private them just in case YouTube decides that I'm, like, impersonating myself, which is a big thing that happens sometimes. Just to avoid any problems. And also, it would have not been fun to watch those streams anyways. It's not like you're missing out on much, other than extra gameplay that you probably wouldn't be able to hear anyway. Yeah, dodging seems pretty simple so far. But yeah, the one thing I would not do is just self-censor, but when it comes to YouTube deleting videos, channels, and not really letting you do anything, I guess you don't really have a choice in that case. But thankfully I haven't had to self-censor besides like the usual, the obvious, you know, sexual content. This one's more of a YouTube has issues and there's nothing I can do about it. Alright, what do we got? Lack of sound effects is what we got. Hopefully I have enough energy to even do this. Or health, as you can see. Hey, it's not that bad to avoid it. Although if I get hit one time, it's over, and there's no pause button. So there's no quick saving. No saves coming on in this one. Alright, you can kind of figure out a pattern. You can somehow maybe get through this. Alright, shooting doesn't consume that much energy. I think we're going to be okay. Just about. And hey, we did it. Stage 2. I'll quick save. It's loading. Bugged or bugged? Try that again. Maybe something happened with the floppy disk. Although I'm assuming they're just diskettes. I'm really just talking out of my ass here. Alright, there we go. No continues. I will talk about the controller at a different time, however. The thing with these old streams was... And they were like before I changed my intro and outro scenes, basically. All the game audio would be beyond low. To the point where I can't hear anything, even if I turn it up all the way on YouTube. But you know, by that point, my voice just gets really overpowering. So there's not much of a point to it. And that's not saying much, because even my voice was super low. So the best that I could do is just go in editing and turn it up all the way. Scenes that I have like just gameplay, I could just turn the gain up all the way. But yeah, it's pretty unwatchable. Even going back to like the old Halo playthroughs, it's pretty unwatchable. Terrible. I don't get any points, assuming for game over. Yeah, nothing. I guess we're testing out Mario 2. What else are we gonna do? Pepsi Man was weird. I guess YouTube kind of stabilizes my audio. It's supposed to lower audio, not heighten it. But in my end, I could barely hear anything on the thing anyway. Maybe that's just me because I'm watching the playback preview on like really low decibels. But yeah, I try to stabilize the audio as much as I can. I stream and like, I guess I could be switching around the audio channels, or audio tracks when I'm streaming, but when you're streaming, you only use one audio track anyway. So this would be like more for background stuff, you know. I can't shoot. Alright, we're bugged. What is this? Alright, I guess we're just enjoying the music, I guess. But yeah, I could just keep audio track 1 for streaming, and then at the same time just have audio track 2 and 3 for game and everything else. I don't know how that would affect actual YouTube videos or streaming. Yeah, it'd be different if I save the stream, you know, recording as I stream it, but I don't have the space for all that. I don't have the luxury of doing that with my storage. So it's pretty silly to have people like recommend doing that all the time. You know, we can barely afford flash drives anymore. So it's getting to a point where it's not really a sound advice. To just be like, well, save every stream on your hard drive. Record it while you're doing it. That's also kind of why I settled for the YouTube Studio downloads. They do 30 FPS at 720. And I think that's pretty much fine, because I mean, if you're watching on a phone, which is maybe half of my viewership, I think that's fine. For PC too, I don't think it really matters. It looks pretty nice as it is. The FPS might be an issue, but whatever, you know? Alright, so what's going on? Did I actually buy something? What am I even looking at here? Grab that, I don't know. I don't think it actually matters. Well, this is going to be it, I guess. Let's test out Scenario 3. I really like the art. Very late 80s looking anime. They did pretty good on that. But you're right. My YouTube goes down probably a few weeks, not a month or two of content goes down with it. Hell of a lot more, actually, now that I think about it. We're talking probably like 10. Obviously not, we're talking like almost 20 years, probably. Okay, buying some really weird stuff here. Maybe I shouldn't have messed up with that kind of thing. But the music's pretty good, so I guess that's kind of all that I got for it. Yeah, this might be a really short stream. Which is why I'm glad I uploaded earlier today, so. I'll just look up a short, make something up, I don't know. Doesn't matter. Do something. So yeah, anyway. There's thousands upon thousands of Doujin games. Hopefully not all shoot 'em ups, obviously. I'm guessing a good half of those are going to be explicit for me to show on here. Just like the actual game library. Although not as big as the PC98's library. Even the Doujin library. But we'll get to that eventually. I'm gonna come to a point where I'm gonna have to start just hitting random key and picking something out of like the official library and the Doujin catalog, because these things are very obscure unless I speak Japanese and I'm looking at the right circles, in which case I'm not gonna find anything. As you can imagine, the homebrew scenes from a 90s computer exclusive to Japan isn't very accessible for the West. But I do what I can. We played so many already that it's pretty good, so. And I guess that's it. There's nothing else for me to show, to be honest. I'm not very good at STGs or shmups anyway, so. I didn't really have anything else planned, so I'll just edit it short and call it a day. Hope somebody watched this and found it enjoyable, though, maybe. My ideas for another Doujin shoot 'em up, or not. If I can play something that's not a shoot 'em up on these computers, that'd be great. You know, I'll take something like Night Slave anytime, or maybe just a visual novel. but I can't stream those, unfortunately. Too much women on the screen. And that saddens me, so I guess this is it. Till next time, we'll do something more known. Yeah, it's more known tomorrow. See what happens. Goodbye.